Today we went to Walmart and picked up everything we need to make a turkey, cranberry sauce, stuffing, au gratin potatoes, sweet potato casserole, gravy, brown sugar glazed vegetables, and an apple crisp. So this brine is going to basically hyperhydrate the turkey so that way you don't end up with a dry turkey. And then we're just gonna bring this to a boil. Every restaurant I've worked at, it's like every time like there'd be guys, you know, who cut 50 pounds of onions and all that, and they would save all those little bits and throw it in the beef stock or the chicken stock, whatever it might be. Because if not, you're just throwing away flavor, you know? If you guys know any ways to not cry while chopping onions, leave them in the comments, please. Staying organized always kind of relieves all the stress with a Thanksgiving dinner. So just getting all your ingredients prepped, ready to go in one spot. So all you gotta do is focus on cooking and crying. We're putting our potato slices in a large bowl and we're gonna cover them with cold water just so the potatoes don't brown. I found with fresh herbs like basil and rosemary, the easiest way to chop them is to almost kind of roll them up as tight as you can. And that way you can get a cleaner cut on them. Now we're just gonna break down a bunch of garlic just so that way we have it all ready, minced to go. So in your Blackstone pizza oven or your oven set to 350 degrees, turn it on to low heat and then we're gonna stick our sweet potatoes in there to roast. So now that the brine is cooled down, we're just gonna put our turkey breasts and legs in there and we're gonna let it sit for at least 8 hours. So after our turkey is brined for at least 8 hours, we're pulling it off and then we're gonna pat off any of this excess moisture with a couple paper towels. We're taking the moisture off just so that the skin gets crispier while we're cooking it. So we've got our griddle on medium-high heat. We're searing off the turkey, breasts, legs, wings, all of that to get a hard, crispy skin, and then we're gonna be putting them on a resting rack to get up to heat, get up to temp internally. Yeah, we're gonna baste this with a little bit of our herb butter, and then we'll cover the lid and let this bake. Let's make our cheese sauce. Add butter, salt, pepper, garlic, and rosemary to a medium saute pan. Add a little bit of flour and stir until a roux is formed. Slowly pour in your half and half and whisk until there are no more lumps. Add your shredded cheese and then stir that until completely smooth and a thick cheesy sauce is made. So we're taking our oiled cast iron pan and then we're gonna layer out our sliced potatoes and then we're just gonna pour our cheese sauce that we made earlier directly over the top. Now we're gonna wrap the cast iron pan with foil. Set the pan onto the griddle next to the turkey and let cook for 1 hour until the potatoes are very tender. Brush the turkey with herb butter every 15 minutes and then remove from the griddle once it reaches 165 degrees internally. We're gonna be making some cranberry sauce from scratch. It's really easy. We're just gonna take 12 ounces of cranberries and then we're gonna boil it with a cup of water, a cup of brown sugar, and then a little bit of orange juice and lemon juice left over from our turkey brine. We're going to prep the glaze for our vegetables. We're using brown sugar, butter, garlic, sage, rosemary, salt, pepper, and some chopped pecans. Once we sear the vegetables off on the griddle, we're just gonna dump this glaze over the top and stir it up, let it caramelize. These sweet potatoes have been cooking for about an hour. If you poke through them with a fork or a pair of tongs, you'll notice that the inside is very soft and tender and the skin's starting to separate away. Once your sweet potatoes are cool enough to handle, peel the skin off and put the sweet potato into a bowl with 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a pinch of salt, a pinch of cinnamon, and a 1/4 tablespoon of butter. Then you're gonna mix it up and then set it aside while you make the topping. To make the topping, we're gonna use a 1/2 cup of pecans, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of flour, a 1/4 cup of melted butter, a pinch of salt, and we're just gonna mix that up till a paste is formed, and then we're gonna top our casserole with it. Time to make the stuffing. Start by adding your celery, onions, and sausage directly to the griddle top. Chop it up with your spatulas. Tear up 12 dinner rolls, then add them to the celery sausage mix. And then ladle a few cups of your turkey stock directly over the top. Cook it over the griddle on medium heat for about 10 to 12 minutes until the bread is seared and slightly dried out. Keep warm until you're ready to serve. Let's get back to the gravy. Strain your stock through a fine mesh sieve and then take a small sauce pot on your range top, add butter, onions, garlic, and a little bit of rosemary. Melt the butter and saute the onions. Then add a few tablespoons of flour and whisk that up. Pour in your turkey stock directly over the top and whisk rapidly until there are no more clumps and the sauce thickens up. Season to taste with salt and pepper and go ahead and serve. All right, so we're gonna make the topping for our apple crumble. And we're gonna do 1 cup brown sugar, 3/4 cups rolled oats, a pinch of salt, and a little bit of flour as well. Mix up the butter with the rest of the topping. Feel free to get your hands in there to separate it. Don't be afraid to get messy. Just make sure it's evenly coated and the butter is mixed in with your oats and your sugar. Take a greased casserole dish or a metal or an aluminum shafer, and then add your sliced Granny Smith apples and then the topping that we made earlier. Mix it all together, cover it in foil, and then put it in your oven or your Blackstone pizza oven for 30 minutes until the apples start to tenderize and release their natural sugars and the topping crisps up. With a little bit of time and prep work, you can make a delicious Thanksgiving meal for the entire family under $75. Full recipes and a pre-made Walmart shopping cart are in the link down below. Make sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and have a happy Thanksgiving.